So, welcome everyone to a lovely another spiritual hour. And of course, today we've got the very magical Dr. Voice with us today. And I'm
I'm
very
very
happy to
happy to
meet
meet
him.
him.
Uh,
Uh,
so, I've
so
got
I've got
around,
found out.
yeah, let me just mute. Yeah, let me just mute everyone. So, there we go. Okay, good. So, we'll start that again. Right. I'm very happy to welcome our special guest today, the amazing Dr. Voice. He's not just a vocal coach, he's a true soul guide who helps people reconnect with the power and vibration of their authentic voice. And over the years, Dr. Voice has worked with singers, speakers, and seekers from all walks of life, helping them break through blocks, find their truth and express it with confidence and heart. So his approach is deeply intuitive, spiritual, and aligned with the kind of inner transformation all of us here like to explore. He sees the voice as a gateway to healing, empowerment, and alignment with our highest self. So it's a real gift to have him here today. And please join me in welcoming Dr. Voice. Welcome, Dr. Voice, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for inviting me onto this wonderful little forum here. I must say to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the privilege and the honor for giving me the opportunity to hopefully share some insights, some inspiration, and some understanding about you and your voice. And let's start with the one thing, really, probably what gives me the credential to do this. Very simply, I'll run through it very quickly. I was born in a family just after the war, 1953. I was born, and my mother was a bit crazy. So most of my childhood I spent in a cellar. So I didn't really have any real loving encouragement in my upbringing. And most of us probably don't. But I'm not here for your sadness, or because I've gone through everything that's necessary for me to go through now at my age, and done a lot of healing and walked down many roads to bring about change and growth in my life. And I'm hopefully going to share with you some insights to the understanding of why the voice became a very important part in my life, and why I believe it to be an extremely important part in your life. And let's start with that. I was crushed and as a child, so I didn't have self-expression going on. Let's put that in perspective. The universe, life, has a contract with you, every one of you. It's got a contract with you. And that contract is being signed by this extraordinary infinite being called life that was here before this planet. It will be here after you've gone. It's always been here. It's the infinite power of this existence. It's in everything. And that thing has got a contract with you while you're alive. And it's signing it with every breath. Every breath is being signed by the infinite until one day it won't sign it anymore. And you will be no more. So this thing, as it's signing your life, every breath, only asks for three things in this contract. This has been my journey, my understanding of my connection to that infinite part in me, which is in every one of us. We have that drop inside us. It's a tiny little drop. It will go back to the ocean one day. And that drop inside you is infinite. It's infinite, never dies. And that is connected to your next breath. So the contract is simple. Please have fun. I didn't put the birds on the trees and the sea in the sky, sea in the ocean, or the sky in the air. I didn't put all these things on this creation so that you could be miserable and upset and not happy. I did all this for you to have fun. So I've created a playground for you to have fun in. So please have fun. The second part of the contract. Experience the fact. The fact. I would like you to do this with me, please. Experience the fact that you're in a human body right now. Is that true? Can you all do this? All have a slap. Come on, let's hear the slaps. You're in a body, aren't you? Can you feel you're in a body? Forget anything else, just the fact you are in a human body right here, right now. Is that the truth? Is that the truth? Yes. So now you're in a human body. This is the second part of the contract. Please, it says to us, it's given us life, it's given us our every breath. And it's saying, please experience the joy of being in a human body. At minimum, at least, experience the joy that you're alive. It's a phenomenon. It's remarkable. And that I am allowing that to happen with every breath as I sign it. This is what the infinite is doing to us. What an incredible thing that is. It's a miracle that we're sitting here. Absolute miracle. Third thing, and I think this is where my job comes in. Please be totally self-expressive in all your dealings and everything you do while you're alive. Be totally self-expressive. Stop holding back. The infinite, does it hold back? Did it? No. I mean, it takes a weed, tiny little weed. It's nothing, is it? But it makes that weed break through concrete because it is constantly growing and expanding. The universe is constantly growing and expanding. And inside us, that drop, that infinite thing inside us wants us to keep expanding into new heights, into new experiences of our expression, of our life, of who we are. It's desperate for you to do that because that's its nature. He's designed this whole thing for us. So when we don't do that, when we don't fulfill this contract, this is when 50% of our body shuts down. Confusion, pain, heartache. That's 50% of our body. Doubt, fear. The other 50%, if we tune into that, that's where the drop lives, in that infinite place. Clarity, love, joy, expression, wonderment. What do you want? What do you want? It says it. What do you want? You can choose. This is what blows me away. This I'm sorry, I get excited because this thing that's giving you life, it's giving me life, it's enabling me to sit here and say that. Do you think I've sat here and I've got a speech written? Do you think I've sat here and tried to work out what I'm going to say? No, I'm sitting here surrendered like a baby in here. I have nothing going on in my brain whatsoever. I'm not trying to work out, oh, what shall I say to Tom who's sitting there, or Cushy, what shall I say to her sitting in her car? What shall I say? I'm not trying to think anything at all. I just observe, and I want the flow of truth, of love, of who we are to be more apparent in this moment we've got. We don't know how long we got. Let's make this joyous. Let's make this extraordinary. Let's make this, however hour or more we're going to do today, let's make this monumental in our life. Because isn't your life monumental? It should be. It should be. Because you're alive. Hello? What? You're alive. That's it. That's it. That's the power. You are in a body right here and right now. And what does that make us do? It makes us sit here and say, right, well, what can I do while I'm in this body? And this is the three things I always come to me. I look at myself when I go through anything. There's a little technique here, a little process you can use. If you go through, oh, I don't know, or doubt or fear or all those things, that 50% of your body I'm talking about comes up in you, and you can just sit there and say, hang on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Am I in a body? Oh, that's a good one. Because you know, it doesn't matter what you're going through. You can ask that question to yourself. Am I in a body? Yes. Right. Can I feel I'm in a body? Yes. Right. Now your mind, the thing that was beating you up, telling you how down you are and unhappy you are, it's now listening to you. It's, oh, you're in a body. Okay, right. Can you breathe? Yes. Are you breathing? Yes. Okay. So I want you to do this with me now, because I want you to do this for the rest of this talk. Because if you can practice this with me for the rest of this talk, you will connect to the drop. And here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, like that. And I want you to have your mouth slightly open, just like that. I sound like Tommy Cooper, don't I? Just like that. And I want you to... I should have worn that hat. And I want you to take air in through your nostrils, just like that. And as you take air in through your nostrils with your mouth open and your tongue on the roof of the mouth, you will find air will go through the nostrils and will hit the bowel part of your lungs. Your ribs will come out like this. So to help that go through, you do this. And you go like this. You go, ribs coming out as the air goes in through the nostrils. That's all you're going to do. No big complex thing. And just allow the air to come out. It doesn't matter whether it comes out through your mouth or no. It's just let it come and go. Now, what are you doing? You're allowing yourself to breathe. Allow. Don't make yourself, oh, I've got to breathe now. He's showing me how to breathe. No, I'm not doing that. I'm saying relax. I'm saying open the mouth. I'm saying put the tongue up there, and I'm saying just allow the ribs to come out as you secretly allow air to go through your nostrils. And it goes right into the bowel part of your lungs where your ribs are. Oh, right? Now I want you to do this all the time. I don't want you to stop. Now, here's what you're thinking and maybe thinking, oh, am I doing it right? Is it? Don't go down that road. You've got a nose, haven't you? You've got nostrils. You don't need to be complexed. And don't tell me, oh yeah, but I've got cavities and I've got hay fever, I've got asthma. No, this has nothing to do with that. Don't worry about that. This is bypass all that. We're talking about the infinite here. Hang on, what? We're talking about the thing that's created 8 billion people's different fingerprint on this planet. Every one of you got a different fingerprint made by the infinite. Do you think it doesn't know that you're having air go through your nostrils? It knew exactly how to do an individual fingerprint with 8 billion people. Don't you think it's aware, this consciousness, this life force is aware that you have 2 nostrils? In fact, that's why it gave you 2 nostrils. Because it wanted to let you know, I, the infinite, have stuffed myself under your very nose. So you can't miss me. I've stuffed myself right under your nose. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, mouth open, air slightly goes in through the nostrils as the rib comes out. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. I would like you all, if you're with me, how are you going to be with me today as we do this? Do one thing at a time. Just concentrate on what I'm saying. Don't sit there and have something to eat or drink or do it. Be with the moment. Don't take notes. If you're taking notes, you're blowing it. You're not getting a consciousness from what we're talking about. Because what I'm talking about is a consciousness. I'm not talking about, oh, that's a good idea, I'll write that down. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about you being in a body right here, right now, that doesn't need a pencil. It doesn't need a pen. It doesn't need ideas. It just needs you to be sitting in your body and experiencing your next breath. Now, why have I said mouth open, tongue on the roof of the mouth? Let's get that cleared up. Because if you open the back door and the window at the same time, did you know it causes a backdraft and the air goes through? Right? Have you noticed that in your house? Window open, backdraft goes through. Right. When you take air, I want you all to try this with me. I want you to shut your mouth. That sounds rude, doesn't it? But I want you to put your mouth closed and I want you to breathe in through your nostrils only with your mouth closed. And I want you to feel how tough that is. That's tough. Now, open the mouth, tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now breathe in through the nostrils, allowing it to go into your ribs. How freer is that? Is it freer? Nod if it is freer. I want to see little noddies. We're all nodding. Is it freer? Yes. So if that's freer, that's because you are getting more oxygen in the bowel part of your lungs. Now, guess who is in that oxygen? The infinite. Before you were here, it was doing its thing. Now it's gone inside your body with you, making it go in. Hang on, wait a minute. What's this all about? I'm asking you to take air in through your nostrils, your tongue on the roof of the mouth, which I've understood. Where's all this come from? I'll tell you in a minute. But basically, to experience the joy of just taking air into your body. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to get into ideas or concepts. I would love you just to feel the joy of taking air in through your nostrils, tongue on the roof of the mouth, and allowing the bowel part of your lungs to come out. And then I want you to say one thing when you've done it. You ready? Here it is. I'll show you. I'll do it. Here I go. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, mouth open, nostrils, and I go, it's in. What? I just said, it's in. I'm going to do that again. Watch. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, in through your nostrils. I want you to say it out loud to yourself. You go like this. It's in. What? It's in. What's in? The thing that's given you life. Hello? The thing that's giving you life. And you've just acknowledged it. You've just enabled it. But the enabler that's enabling you to be alive, you're asleep at night, you're going, it's breathing you in and out all night. You don't have nothing to do with it, but it's keeping you alive, right? That's the enabler. What you're doing now, you're going to the enabler. It's in. You're talking to the enabler. What? You are. Look, let me put a picture in your mind. Imagine you've created hundreds of little wooden soldiers, you, each one of you, and they're all running around, bumping into each other. There's a soldier there, there's a soldier there. And then all of a sudden, and they're mechanical, they're just little soldiers. And then one of them looks up at you and goes, hello, what are you going to do? You're going to pick it up, aren't you? It's just hello to me. You want to hold it in your hand, aren't you? You want to hold that little soldier that spoke to you. You made that and it's just hello to you. That's what's happening when you go, it's in. You're showing respect to the moment that you've been given life. And you're thanking that first before you do anything else. Forget prayer, forget religion. I'm not saying don't have them, but at this moment in a body, taking a breath in, that is the most powerful connection you could ever have in a human body. Through the nostrils, into the ribs. It's in. And you saying it's in gives you the memory and consciousness. Oh, I just took it in. That should be enough for you to say, oh, thank you. It's almost the perfect form of gratitude you can give for yourself. You want gratitude? There it is. You've just acknowledged the infinite and said it's in. You've just said to the drop inside you, thank you so much. You're in my body. And I just felt you went to my body. Now, that's from a spiritual point of view. We're talking this. But let's go to the scientific point of view, which is even more exciting. Because I gave a talk to a room of doctors and in the Royal College of Surgeons. And they're all in this room. And I said to them, gentlemen, international voice, Dr. Boyce, and I came on stage. And they said, I said to them, right, gentlemen, what's the biggest killer on the planet? And all looking around. And the professor at the front, I saw him, Professor, do you know? And he went, yes. He put his hand up. I said, what's the biggest killer on the planet? He said, stress. Oh, thank you, sir. Stress. And why is that, sir? Well, stress attacks the organs, the internal organs. It affects our blood flow, our arteries. It could cause, all sorts of problems, heart attacks and what have you, because stress is not just a mental thing. It's actually something that's in your body. So I said, can I ask you, sir, is stress a chemical? Is it a physical chemical? And they went, yes, it is. So it's actually physical. Yes, it is. And it goes through the bloodstream and it attacks our organs. I said, right. So stress is a chemical. So, gentlemen, we've all understood that the stress in our body is a chemical reaction that's now starting to make us feel depleted. Now, as I'm talking to you, please, are you going, it's in? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Or are you thinking? Or in your mind wondering or thinking this guy's a nutcase? Or what's he talking about? Where are you? I hope you're with your contract. I hope you're with that feeling. It's in. It's beautiful. And when you keep doing it and keep doing it, I'll tell you later what happens. And you're going to see what happens for you. It's just beautiful. So you keep doing this, it's in, right? So there I am, all the doctors. So I gave them this technique. All breathe from the nostrils, tongue in the mouth, all sitting there, the doctors, and you're watching them all doing it. And I made them do it for about 15 minutes. And they're all doing it. And then I said, would it be fair to say, gentlemen, there's another toxin in your body worse than stress. And it's really lethal. And it's so lethal, it can actually destroy every other chemical in your body, including the chemical stress. Anybody? Professor, he put his hand up. Yes. I said, what's that chemical, sir, that can create? Tom had your hand up. Go on, Tom, tell us, what is it?
Is it your mind? Thoughts? Is it
No.
thoughts, your mind?
No. Are you ready? Adela, what do you think it is? What's the chemical?
Oxytocin.
Oxygen.
No. Oh, oxytocin. No, it's the same.
It's oxygen.
Oxygen. Right. Okay.
Oxygen. What? The biggest killer of stress in your body is oxygen. How many times have you been someone having a baby? Breathe. Why? You just had your arm chopped off and you're on the other side of the road looking at your arm. What do they get you to do? They don't give you paracetamol. They say, breathe. Why? Because it immediately attacks the stress and annihilates it. Right now, every one of you, if you're doing this breathing, if you're with me, if you're still going, it's in, I hope so, you'll start to feel, but I'll tell you why. If you can keep this up right to the end of this talk, it's in, even though you're listening to me, it's in, I guarantee you'll be stoned. You'll be stoned. All right? And you won't have to take a drug. You will be stoned. And the reason why is when you take air in through the nostrils, it creates a little piece of what I call mildew. It's like a chemical reaction in the nostrils, in the hairs in your nostrils. And that chemical reaction, that moisture, goes to the lungs and goes inside you, is called nitric oxide. Laughing gas. Laughing gas. So if you keep breathing like this, you'll end up laughing. Seriously. But it takes dedication. It takes devotion. It takes effort. It takes a long, focused want, a thirst to want to do it. But while you're on with me, at least try, at least practice, at least feel it entering your nostrils, tongue on the roof of the mouth as it goes into the bowel part of your lungs and you're saying it's in. And it's beautiful. And you keep doing this. Then you get into what we call an ebb and flow of your existence. It's in. It's beautiful. Now, I want that simple. I could have said, take 4 in, take 6 out, blow 7 out, pull in for 8, blow out for 4. Oh, no. There's so many concepts about breath. There's so many YouTube things about how to breathe, the best way to breathe, and all this stuff. Look, let's get it down very simple. I want it simple for you because why and who do I think I am that I can sit here and give this to you? Where's my credential? Well, I spent, in my attempts to get away from the hell of my mother, I emigrated to Australia on the 10-pound assisted passage in 1969. And I decided I hated my past. And I sat down, and I'll never forget this. On the way, I sang on a boat because I wanted to be a singer. My brother was a singer. So I got on the boat and I started to sing. And when I sang, I sounded like Bob Dylan's grandmother. Nine, oh, come on. It was embarrassing. 2,000 people laughed at me. And my girlfriend who I was with split up with me. And I went back to my cabin feeling very forlorn and down and unhappy. I then realized I can't sing. I can't hear the notes. And I wonder why. Because I was shut down as a child. Right? Shut down. Let me give you an example. Everyone, look, a lot of my clients come to me. I've got the prince of Emirates, all sorts of people come to me. The head of the stock exchange and all sorts of very high-powered people come to me, and they all agree with this little story. That's all happened to every one of them. There you are, you're 4 or 5 years old, and you're drawing a little picture in your classroom at school, and you go, "Nah, man," and you tear it off. That one, and you're loving it because there's colours in it, and then that one, and you're so full of self-expression from the infinite. That one, this one, and then there's red and yellow, and you go red, yellow, and you love it, the colour red, yellow, and it's like, wow, it's so bright and beautiful. And then all of a sudden, the teacher comes up and goes, "I give you a gold star for that one." You have no idea what to do. You don't know how to do that again. She's just shut you down for the rest of your life. Because you look at little Johnny, and Johnny's over there the next day, and he gets a gold star and a chocolate bar. You don't, he does. And you look at Johnny and say, "Johnny's better than me." Oh my God, then is inbuilt in you the inadequate self-image, low self-esteem, and you shut down. And the rest of your life, you're spent trying to express yourself, but worried that it's not going to be a gold star. What a horrific way to be brought up. And that is what we've all suffered. Now, for me, it was worse than that. I was put in a cellar. I could, you know, and tortured. And what's incredible, and I'll tell you the story of this later because it's quite amazing how I revisited this and it changed. It was quite remarkable. And I'm sure you'd like to hear what happened. It was very powerful. So what I did when I went to Australia, I thought, right, I've got to do something with my life. And I remember sitting down, and I probably read for about 2 years, 300 books on the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Aquarian Gospel. I followed Joseph Smith. I became a Mormon. I became a Pentecostal. I became a Methodist. I worked in a church cleaning it so that I could hear the sermons every night because I was desperate to know what God was. I was desperate to know why I've been given life. What am I doing here? Desperate. And then nothing came to me. And then I said, "God, you have forsaken me. You don't exist. I've done everything. You're not real." And I sat down with a bottle of whiskey. I was 19 years old, I think then, 20. And I guzzled this whiskey down my stomach, inebriated myself, said, "I want out of here. I don't want to live. There's no point. This world is crazy. All the religions, all the books, I've said it all, I've seen them all, and nothing's coming to me. Nothing's helping me." And as I was sitting in the park bench one day, I was just sitting there, and this guy walked by and had a cork round his hat with a big hat on, you know, the Aussies. They talk like Catherine does, you know. And and he come up to me, this Aussie, and he was sweeping up, and I was drunk. And he looked me right in the face. He went, "Don't you know?" I said, "What?" "God is within you. No worries." And walked off. I got up. I walked into town. And then there's these people talking about being in the flow, walking around with these plaques, "Go within. Come and hear about meditation tonight," and at the town hall. Oh. So I went to the town hall and I sat at the town hall, and there's this big screen that came up, and I'm sitting there watching this screen. There's all these Mahatmas, Indians walking around. I thought, what's going on? You know, and they said, "Video, please watch video." And on come this video, and it was this 9-year-old boy. He was 9 years old, Indian, and he was sitting on this throne-like thing in India. And he, please forgive me if you're Indian. I see, Kusha, you might be Indian, are you? Yes. So don't be offended by what I'm about to do. I'm just reciting what happened to me, what I heard. And I heard him go, right? I had no idea what he was saying because I didn't understand Indian. But underneath, it said, don't you know that God is within you? Oh, don't you know that you're looking at religion and everything outside of you, right? And you're looking at all these things and they're like pictures of food. They will not satisfy your hunger. If you want a meal, come to me and I'll show you. And you can eat this meal with me at my table. Well, of course, so first night I went up to this Mahatma. I said, listen, I want to, I want. And he said, and the Mahatma said, no, come tomorrow. I said, what do you mean? Here's some more. And I had to go the next day, come tomorrow, here's some more. And 18 months later, I had enough. So I went round to this guy's ashram where he lived. It was in Perth, Western Australia. And I went up and knocked on the window. He's in the kitchen. I said, I want to know what this thing is. And he said, come tomorrow, wear loose clothes. I knew that was my day. So I went in, sat down, and there was about 12 other people there. Close eyes, I closed my eyes, and he unveiled to me through 4 techniques an experience inside my body which shut me up for the first time in my whole entire life. Every cell in my body was being lifted by the universe. And I felt one with everything. And I was in light and I was in this beautiful space. And then I came out of it after 4 or 5 hours. I came out of it and I said he said to me, good? I said, yes. You have knowledge of God in you now. Was it imagination? I said, no, you have. I said, what do I do? He said, you practice. What do you mean? You can practice every day. You have to practice. Practice? He said, you practice. You sit and do this every day. So I went off and I joined an ashram. And I meditated 8 hours a day for 10 years of my life. So I got to know this thing inside me very well. And that's why I speak with conviction from it today, because I've been doing it 50 years now. Not once, ever has it let me down. Ever. Always brings a blissful experience to my body. Always lets me know it's in, it's going. It's always there. Always there. So when I share this breathing technique with you, going back to the breathing technique, this isn't the knowledge that I received, by the way. The breathing technique I'm sharing with you is something that I've understood based on my time in experiencing, practicing for many years, knowledge with this guru, Prem Powell, based on that time I spent with him. But my experience of understanding how the breath works with the voice became a massive change to my life. And this is where the voice comes in. This is where, when you start realizing how you make sound, you cannot make sound without breath. So everybody's talking about this. You've got to be in the moment. Being in the moment's where it's at. don't they? Have you heard this? Being in the moment. Let's be in the moment. Being in the moment. The only time you can be in the moment is when you're making sound and when you're breathing. That's the only time physically that you put you in the moment. In through the nostrils, in the moment, making sound. Just do that for me. Let's all go in the moment. Take a breath in through your nostrils, tongue on the roof of the mouth. It's in. And go, Just try it. Here we go. In through the nostrils. It's in and and hear your sound as it comes out. And when you're listening to your sound when it comes out, guess what's happening? Self-consciousness. Oh, that's a bit funny. Oh, that tickles. Oh, that don't feel right. Oh, there's all sorts of rubbish comes up, right? Because you've never heard yourself do that in that way. So we shut it down. But your voice is riding on the surfboard of your breath every day. Every moment you speak, your breath is present. Think about it. If that's the truth, which from my understanding of science, it is, you will be more in the moment when you take a breath in first before you speak. What? Take a breath in, it's in. Hello, how are you? Now, to prove this, I've been around the world. I've done loads of talks and different, been on television. I've done all sorts of stuff to try and wake people up to this understanding. And I had a lot of people in front of me at a big Anthony Robbins event because I hung out with Anthony for about 8 years. So there I was sitting there and about 200 or 300 people in front of me. And I said, I want you to talk to each other, say, hello, how are you? And they all went, oh, hello, how are you? Oh, hello, how are you? And they all said that to each other. And it was great. I said, right, now, I want you, and I turned to the breathing through the nostrils, tongue on the roof of the mouth. It's in. And then I want you to say it from that feeling of your breath as it comes out. I want you to go, hello, how are you? And feel it when you say it to that person next to you now. And they all did this. I said, right, did we all do it? Yes. Sir, what did you experience? Well, when I first said it, it was like, it didn't mean anything. But when I said it then, I could feel it was so sincere. Oh, wonder why. Infinite was there, wasn't it? The infinite was there. I'm telling you this here now. The infinite was there. It was with him in his sound. I said, what did you feel, madam, when he said it to you? So, well, when he first said it, it was rubbish. She said, but when he said it then, she said, oh, so honest. It felt real, she went. So did everybody have that? And went round, every single one of them had the same experience. Now, there was a woman in the front row in front of me. And I looked at her and I said, madam, you look really beautiful tonight. You look really lovely. Actually, you look gorgeous. Actually, you look wonderful. And I just did that to her, right? And I turned around and I went, right, now go back to her. I'm testing myself here. So I went back to her, took a breath in, it's in. Madam, you look really beautiful tonight. Look amazing. You look gorgeous. It's in. You look wonderful. And I turned to the audience, and when I looked back, she was crying. I said to her, do you mind? She said, no, it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, lady in the front row here is crying. Madam, can I ask you why you're crying? She said, when you just said to me a minute ago, madam, you look lovely, you look beautiful, you look lovely, you look gorgeous, you look wonderful, a minute ago, didn't mean anything. She said, it was like, yeah, in your dreams, I bet. She said, but when you said it then, she said, it was like the first time in my life anybody's ever said that to me. Now that's real. That's not some imaginary thing. And that was practical. I'm asking you to realize something very powerful about yourselves today. Your breath and your voice. When I gave a talk to all these girls in here, the big Piers Morgan is on the show. It's like a big TV. This is a big TV studios I'm in, by the way. And in there, they asked me always to go in and give a talk to all these presenters that want to go on television. So I stand in there and I meet all these presenters that want to go on television. And in this room, there's about 20 girls, you know, and they're all very pretty, all sitting there, and they're all done up nice and everything. I said, right, every single one of you want to turn up in every situation in your life to be the best version of yourself. Is that correct? If you're meeting your boyfriend tonight, you want to be the best version of yourself. You want to make sure that you're coming from who you really are. You want to be authentic. Is that correct? And they all went, yes. If you're in the courtroom and you've got to go to talk to a judge, you know you want to be the best version of you can be. Is that correct? And they all sat there and went, yes. I said, you know the closest thing to who you are, the best version of yourself, is your voice. And how many of you do voice work? None of them. You think it's the makeup, you think it's the dress, you think it's this, you think it's that. No. Well, let's give you an example. Let's say Daniel Craig comes on stage, da-dum, da-da, da-da-da, to collect his award. Ladies and gentlemen, James Bond, da-da, da-da, and he goes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to get this award. You're never going to watch James Bond ever again, are you? I mean, come on. What was the first representation you got of that person? Was weak, insipid, not alive? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, blah, blah. Right? Why do we not judge but witness people that are not being congruent or authentic? It's because of their volume in their voice is always weak. The volume is all, you know. And what talks out of that person with the low volume, I'm sorry to say, from the years I've had thousands of people in front of me, is normally the victim in them. The victim. Well, you know. And what's the victim do? Doesn't want to upset anybody. Wants to say the right thing. Oh, was that wrong? Is that all right? The victim in us stops the magic of the drop. Stops the infinite contract of self-expression, of having fun, of being in a body. And we mumble. Those are two guys here. I've heard them earlier. There's two directors out here directing this film with Damien Lewis, and they're all out there talking. And I heard them talking, these directors. So this was the conversation. I heard it. I'm standing there. Later. I thought, what did they say? I have no idea. What planet were they from? There was like something from Mars. We are stopping our sound. I would go as far as to say this. When you stop your sound, you stop the infinite from growing through you. Why is it? 100 years ago, I don't know whether you can hear this. I'm going to turn my little thing on so you can. I'm going to put musician sound on, so it might infect you, Catherine, more than anybody else. But if I do this, right, is that all right? Right, here we go. Could you hear that? Till its end. That, and probably in your room, you probably felt, where is that? Is it coming from me? Yes, it was. It was a pure tone inside my voice. And what I did, I allowed the breath to sit behind that tone so it wouldn't stop. And that tone is the vibration of the infinite. And it's in everything. Oh, come on, man. Oh, you want the science? You want the science? They went to the sun, and the sun is burning 950 miles of what we call solar beams going, geez, geez, geez. And each one of those solar beams that are coming off the sun, millions of them per second, are equivalent to 10,000 atom bombs. Each one of them. And it's all connected to about 14 million degrees of heat in the center of the sun. And they thought it's oxygen. No, it's not. It's is driving the sun, the vibration of sound is the heart of the infinite. Its imagination is incredible. Look at the amazing things it's created. Just pick a rock up in Africa and you see this thing running out with a face looking at you. You think, what the hell was that? This is the imagination of God. It's incredible imagination. So what's its heart? That's its imagination and brain. What is God's heart? It's the vibration of sound. How do we know this? Okay, just put your television on. Just put your TV on tonight. Anywhere in the world, I don't care where you are. Anywhere. And you'll see Britain's Got Talent, Norway's Got Talent, The Voice, Australia, X Factor in Holland. Doesn't matter where you go. Prime time television, Saturday night is all about singing. Why? Why isn't it about being a solicitor? Why isn't it about being a builder? Why isn't it about all these? Why is sound so important to us? When I was in Africa 12 years ago, I was going through the jungle and I was sitting next to Bota in the Jeep and all these Zulus were running beside me with spears. Oog, oog, oog. And I thought, oh my God, where are they going? I'm going to be put in a pot. You know, I was really worried. So, and he said, no, I know the chief of the village. So we went to the chief of the village and then I sat down and they were rushing to watch something in this big amphitheater. I thought, oh, great. Someone's going to dance and something's going to happen. And the chief said, sat down, everybody, right? And he turned around and he turned on a black and white TV and on come X Factor. All the Zulus sitting there with this, whoa, watching X Factor on TV. Hello? The voice is not that important then? The voice, not one deal, not one piece of powerful anything that's happened on this planet in negotiating, in creating or building anything on earth did not come from anywhere else but the human voice first. Why is it that President Carter put up these satellites and on the satellites, what do you got? And they're up there today as we talk now. And the thing they've put on those satellites, in case Putin wants to blow the world up, God help us, in case that happens, that these satellites will have left on them what? Hitler. Ich fight Spit. They have what? I Have a Dream. They have the Beatles. It has Michael Jackson. It has Elvis Presley. Everyone that made a sound and a difference to this planet will be on that satellite, even today. A picture of Hitler's not enough. They will want to hear it. So if a creature from a different galaxy, an alien, was made of jelly, right? And he turns up at one of our satellites, and he opens one of our satellites up, and he's all made of jelly, and he's standing, right? This, I'm just imagination. Come on, use your imagination. It could be ugly, it could be whatever. And it's standing there, right, looking at our satellite. Why would it be there and wanted to hear what we sounded like? Because inside that jelly is keeping him alive. The vibration of sound. Are we getting this? Are we really understanding how powerful sound is? So therefore, if sound is powerful, then wouldn't it mean our sound would be significant and powerful? Now here's the deal. No, because most of you don't listen to it. You just talk and react, just like the guys out there in the thing. Oh, hello, yeah, oh, not too bad, those things all right. Yeah, not too bad. And you're off. And where you're talking from, you're talking straight from your mind and what you think you need to say and what you think would be the right thing to do and say. You're talking from there. You're not talking from it's in. When you talk from what's in within you, the feeling, people feel it. My son, I'd say to my son, Jack, turn the lights out before you go to school. Right, Gab? Never did it, ever. I thought, right, I've got to do this. It's in. Jack, turn the lights out before you go to school. Or Dad, they were out every time. Why? Hello? Connection. The infinite wants to talk to everyone through you. If you've got a message, if you've got a business, if you've got something you want to share with others and awaken them, then you've got to do it from within who you really are, not from the top of your head thinking, oh, that'd be a good idea. No. No. It won't cut the mustard. When I stood in front of the Dickens World, I was at Dickens World, and I was teaching them because they were losing their voices, and these kids were playing the part of Dickens in the streets and stuff like that. It was a big warehouse where they had Dickens World clothes and shops, and it was lovely. And my friend used to run it. He said, Doc, can you come down? They're all losing their voices. So I went, all right. So I talked to them, and when they were in front of me, this was incredible because I was there in front of them. And I said, right, I'm going to teach you now about the voice. The voice, you've got pitch, you've got rhythm, you've got pause, you've got dynamics, you've got articulation and vowels. These are the elements of speech. And I will make that available for each one of you here. I'll send it off to Catherine and she can send you an email on it. So the first one is pitch. Pitch, right? Pitch means up here. Can you hear that all right? Or down here, right? Up or down. That's what pitch is. Now, if I spoke, if I played this to you, tell me what mood or what feeling you get from it. You ready? What mood's that? Sharon went like that. Yeah, right? Downward, Tom went like that. Yeah, what is that? Down. Why is it down? Because Chopin knew when he wrote it that it was a funeral march and he wanted you to feel down. So he wrote the music, the melody, the pitch of that music made you feel down. What did this composer want you to feel? Upliftment, triumphant, yes. So Vangelis, who wrote that, knew that you in the audience would feel, Ah, da 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 da, shaka daka. You wouldn't feel down from that. You feel triumphant and uplifted, right? So what happens when we hear Johnny One Note speaking? Hello, I'm Johnny One Note. I like to tell you all about my services, and I'm a top hypnotherapist, and I can actually take you on a journey. I can do this, I can do all that. I've got 3 DVDs at the back of the room you might want to buy. How do we feel listening to him? Yeah, but if we are not conscious of the elements, we do the same. And we don't know we're doing it. And we stay around a certain area. Oh, hello. That's nice. But it can be boring because the rhythm is the same. People get to hear the rhythm of what you're saying, and then they shut their ears off because they think they know what you're going to say next, so they get bored or tired. But when you change the rhythm, like I have been doing in this talk, I can speed it up like this or make it go slower. You get it. So the rhythm of how you speak, the pitch of how you speak, the volume. If your volume's, if you're on today and I was sitting, hello, so I'm glad you all come today. It's nice, isn't it? And you'd be saying, turn the mic up, wouldn't you? But you wouldn't like it. You'd get offended. You wouldn't like it. You'd gone off. You say, I ain't listening to this. I'm turning this off. Right? So volume is powerful. Pause. Why would we want to do that? Really? Why? You see the pause? You're thinking, you're listening, you're engrossed by the event of pause. But what do? Oh, we're just rattling it out. But when we use pause and articulation and vowels, you see, when you can express a vowel, it puts everyone in the moment. Here's a vowel. I would love to be able to today. You see that? That vowel. When are we going to do this? Vowels are very powerful. It helps you stop, it helps you pause, and it makes a person think and listen to you. Whereas if you went, when are we going to do this then? Look at the difference. When are we going to do this then? Or when are we going to do this then? 2 vowels there. We going to do this then. Oh, I don't know. People respond immediately because they can hear you. They can hear the elements in your speech. So, elements, very powerful. You're going to get that. It's on its way to you. The elements of speech. So, why? Because if you become conscious of those elements, you will start to transform the way you communicate. But not without it's in first. When you want to speak, I'll give you one quick story. One of my clients, he looks after Johnny Depp, and all these people at this big board meeting, Channel 4 were there, Channel 5 were there, BBC were there, and he came to me, he says, I'm worried about this meeting. How can I communicate at this meeting? I said, oh, okay, breathe. He said, what? I said, do your breathing. What? I showed him. It's in. I kept doing it with him. It's in. I kept doing it with it's in. And he got it in the end. I got that. I said, now say something. He went, I would like to say, I said, yeah, did you feel that? He said, yeah, I could feel that. Did you see that? He said, yeah, that's not how you normally talk. He said, no. I said, right, do that at the meeting. He went, what? I said, do that at the meeting. 2 weeks later, he came back and he said he was at the meeting. Johnny Depp had his head down, looking at his fingers and his rings. Weren't interested in the meeting at all. And there was arguments going on. BBC were arguing with Channel 5. They're all arguing, freaking out with each other. And he was sitting there and just breathing. And he was watching it all. And he said, as he was breathing, he said, Doc, I could see they were all in their minds. I could see they were all lost in the conversation of words and language. I wasn't. I was in this feeling of my breath. And then all of a sudden, I felt I could say something. And I did this. I couldn't believe it. I went, and why would we want to do that? And the whole room stopped. It was like the magic boomerang. Everyone stopped. Everyone. And he said, and he looked, and Johnny Depp went like this, looked up, went, as if to say, who was that? A big smile on his face. Who was that? He went. And then I continued, because, and he had this amazing thing. And of course, his boss came up to him after. He said, what was that? What the hell happened there? He says, well, you know. He said, no, that was like, you just changed the whole meeting. You just created $1 billion thing for us. This is incredible. The power of presence in your tones. Spend time on your voice if you want to connect with people. Now, I didn't tell you the end of the story. At the Charles Dickens event, they're all talking, so I got up and I showed them the elements. And I said, I'm going to talk to you about something for the next 8 minutes, okay, with the elements. They, okay. And I spoke for 8 minutes. I'm going to give you 30 seconds of what I did, and this is what I did. Some of you come by car. Some of you have public transport. And most of you here today are really, really wanting to make some change. That's it. That's my 30 seconds, right? And I went on for 8 minutes like this. And at the end of my talk, they clapped. And they're all like this. I said, right, can anybody tell me what I said? And they're looking at me. And one bloke, oh, I don't know, you're talking about a lot. I don't know. No one could say what I said. I said, you can't tell me what I said, can you? Because I didn't say anything. There was no content in my 8-minute talk to you. And yet you clapped me. All you got was the elements of the voice. And you clapped. Now, there's a little girl, and this guy over here, and I said, this little girl, I'm going to leave you £1,000 a minute. Anyway, this girl, I'm going to give you £20. She said, oh, yes, please. And she jumped up and she wanted the £20. And the guy on the right, I said, did anybody see what happened there? And the guy on the right said, yeah. You said to her, I'm going to give you £20 in a minute with the elements. But you also said to her, without the elements, meaning without the breath, without everything, I'm going to give you £1,000 in a minute. She didn't hear that. She didn't hear that. See the power of how you say things and how present you can be when you express yourself. And that's what I teach. I teach everyone to do this. Now, coming back to how I become Dr. Voice and why I do this, just so you get a good picture. You saw me shut down all my life. I told you that part of my story. It wasn't until I did a Brandon Bay's journey. Brandon Bay, I spent time with Brandon Bay years ago. And I also spent with Leonard Orr and Phil Lout, who invented rebirthing. And I probably rebirthed 400 people in those days because it was very powerful. It was to do with the breath. And then I realized that, then there was Lynn Grabhorn, I spent time with Lynn, excuse me, Your Life is Weight, amazing people. And Louise Hay, I had time with Louise. And so all these people I mixed with and found. But this one journey I went on with Brandon Bay, and she sat down, and I was confused at that time, because I'm a composer. I can write music, but I also love Dr. Voice. So I was sitting there thinking, shall I compose or shall I be Dr. Voice? Shall I compose or shall I be Dr. Voice? Shall I compose or shall I be Dr. Shall I be a hypnotherapist or should I do this? Or should I do this or should I do that? Or what if I should do this? Oh, this thing goes on in us all the time. Shut up. Go back to you inside you. And this is what happened with Brandon Bay's journey. I went back inside myself. And along with other things, like I was doing lots of subliminals, all sorts of things I was creating to try and keep my brain away from the past. And she said, your mum's in front of you, in front of a fire. What do you want to say to your mum? Eh? Your mum is in front of you, in front of a fire. What do you want to say to your mum? I can't say the words I said here, not on this talk. But it had F in it and it had C in it. And it was like, and I was violently angry. I was okay, fine. Now, let's bring your dad in. Now, my dad took me away from my mum when I was 10. And I lived with my dad, and he was the most beautiful, loving soul. And he gave me all the love I needed in my life. And he was my hero. So there I am. What do you want to say to your dad? Dad, I love you. You saved me. You're my everything. I love you, Dad. And I was really expressing all this love for my dad in my imagery. And then he said, okay, you're 9 years old. You're looking at your dad. You love him. You're 9 years old. You're looking at your mum. You hate her. Right, okay. That's it. Finished. Now, tell me anything else you want to say to your dad. I said, no, that's it. I'm done. She said, are you sure? Yeah, Dad. Where were you when I was being abused? When I was in the cellar? Where were you when I was tortured? Where were you? He weren't around. He didn't know that was happening to me. And the reason why is because he never communicated with my mother. They didn't have any real communication. Their relationship was always apart, was together, was together. You know, they didn't have any real communication with each other. So I sat there in the room, and this is quite heavy what happened to me. And she started to cry, the woman taking me on this session. I said, the lack of communication on earth is the root of all evil. And I said this about 10 times, banging the table. And this woman was crying because I realized that was why I was never listened to as a child, because there was no real communication going on. The lack of communication is the root of all evil on earth, I went. And I kept doing that. And then all of a sudden, the last time I said it, the lack of communication is the root of all evil on earth. And I went, and that's why I'm Dr. Voice. That's why I do this. That's why. To wake people up to communicate, connect effectively. Please. Please. Because it'll make your life richer. It'll make you feel more alive. Let me tell you one thing. I have a lot of billionaires come here. And one guy the other day, he's a billionaire, and he's sitting here. I don't mean anything, so they got money. He don't mean anything, but meaning that they're on a path and they're doing stuff. And one of the things why they are where they are, and it comes out of every one of them, I find out exactly why they've managed to achieve certain successes in their life, is to do 3 things. They come alive. You've got to come alive. They have meaningful pursuits, and they have good connections and heartfelt connections with so many other people. And one of my clients was George Michael. And I'll never forget, George I was close to, because we used to have fun and I used to teach him singing and stuff. But what happened was we didn't get too close, so we weren't connected. So he didn't have a connection with me. He had a sort of a very distant relationship with me, but not connected to me. And to this day, I still kick myself that I didn't give him my immersion day. I do what I call an immersion day, where I transform a person in a day. I remove all their blocks. I remove all their fears. I remove all the rubbish that is running your life. And I know to this day, had he taken an immersion day with me, he'd still be with us. And we'd be still hearing him on singing on the waves. I know that. And I get hurt by that. And it hurts me when I see anybody that's not alive to who they really are. So your voice is the first port of call. When you took a breath, when you were born, you went, and you went, wah, wah. So your voice and your breath are married. But somewhere along the line, if you're not communicating effectively, you've separated your breath from your voice. So are we in the breath? Is it in? Are we doing it? Feeling good? Any questions? Anybody has any questions?
We have a question. Sorry.
Let me turn my thing off. Hang on.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Sharon's up first. Do you want to ask Sharon? Just to gallery. You asked, is this connection to your Tan Tien? Is that's what you meant? Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to ask, with the tongue on the roof of your mouth, that is, well, in my perception, it's connecting your whole being, isn't it?
Yes, but from a simple perspective, it's just putting your tongue on the roof of the mouth.
Okay.
But it does create a cyclic thing.
Yeah.
It does connect the chakras. From that point of view, it does, because you're keeping with it, and it's pulling you within, right?
Okay.
And the fact I didn't create the science, thank you, Sharon, for the breath again, because I didn't let you know the science of the breath is very powerful. That when you see anybody, I'm sorry, you go out there now, you watch anybody in the street, they're all axillary breathing, meaning they're not breathing into the ribs. So most people are in stress everywhere you go. On stations, at platforms, everybody's in stress, rushing around. But when you do this breathing technique, slow and deliberate, you cannot be in stress. It is impossible. And it comes in a very quick story. Thank you, Sharon, for reminding me. This story where a guy said, don't touch the lamp. And he says, well, I want to rub this lamp. And the Indian guy said, all right, let him touch the lamp. He rubbed the lamp. Out come this genie. The saint ran off, and the genie said to this guy, I'm going to eat you up right now if you give me something to do. And he went, okay. Loads of women. All these women appeared in a second. He said, give me something to do, I'll eat you. Oh, cars, give me something to do, I'll eat you. Buildings. It was there. He had 5 seconds, and he couldn't think of anything else. And this genie was going to eat him. So he said to the genie, what do I do? And the saint came back and he said, do not touch lamp. He said, tell genie to go up and down the pole until you tell him to stop. Put him on the pole. Genie, go on that pole and go up and down until I tell you to stop. And that's what the genie did. And he was free of the genie eating him. The genie is now going up and down the pole. The method of this story is this. The pole is your breath. The genie is your mind. When you put your mind on that pole, which is your breath, is in, and then it's coming out. And you go, it's in. I want you to imagine you're on a pole as you go up. The mind can't do a thing. And 1 million meridian lines in your body come alive. Meridian lines are the lines that acupuncturists use. only 200 meridian lines come to you or get activated when you breathe anxiety breathing. You're not thinking about your breath at all. If you're not thinking about your breath, let me warn you, you're going towards chaos. When you're with your breath, it's impossible to be in chaos. It's impossible. It's in.
It's wonderful. We have another question from Kush. Would you like to say your question out loud, Kush?
Yes. So my first one was, would you say our sound should be more focused from the lower body versus the back of the throat and head? But I think you've answered that. And the second one I had was, what is your advice to have a clear voice for a soprano? Because I've been singing for quite a long time, and I realized because I was breathing from here, it makes sense why obviously I was struggling with the breath. But if I'm breathing from here, wouldn't that affect being a soprano?
No. I don't get into breath. I've been teaching singing for a lot. I taught Sam Smith, George Michael. I've got a lot of stars that come to me, opera singers, all sorts of people. I have opera singing teachers come to me because they're all into, where do you breathe from? Take a breath from here. Don't get into that. Get into your mouth formants. Look at this. I'll give you an example. If I did this, and I sang this song, can you hear the piano all right? You can't hear the piano. Oh, yeah, let's turn it on. So if I just sang this to you to give you an example, there we are, on. Thinking about the breath, what you're saying from the diaphragm and all that, and I sang this song. Can you hear that now? And I went like this. Just smile for me and let the day begin. Right? I'm being with my breath and my chest voice, and I think I'm doing all right, right? I don't think about that. I just get into the song and to the technique, which is in my mouth formants, not even thinking about the breath. Just smile for me and let the day begin. What's the difference? Kush?
It's definitely a lot stronger. More from here, I can feel the difference. I can hear the difference.
It's not
And
from
there's
there.
a sort of emotional backing to it.
Yeah, it's not from there. It's not from the stomach. That's from the mouth formants. So that's what I teach. I teach people how to be in what I call the beams. And I spoke about the beams earlier, which is a right. Now there's 4 beams that come off that for your singing. One is oh, oh. The other is eh, eh. Nothing to do with the breath. Ah, 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 ah. No, I was with Teddy Swims recently. You know Teddy Swims?
No.
Something's got a hold of me lately. Losing control. You know that song?
Oh, yes.
That's Teddy Swims. No one knows who he is, but that's Teddy Swims. Now, when I spoke to Teddy, I was talking about the beams. I said he's doing the beams all the time. He didn't even know he was doing them. Celine Dion does them all the time. That's a beam. What I do, I teach people to wake the beams up in their voice. And then they don't have to worry about all this breathing for me and doing for this and that. So years and years, so many YouTube channels, so many teachers are teaching a technique which is old and is not attached to the drop in you. It's attached to all concepts of how the voice should work. I teach people to be with the drop in them, with the infinite in their tone, in the sound. A different ball game. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Wonderful. And does it have
So let me turn this off, sorry. There we go. Yeah.
Right. Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Voice today? Any questions? Yes, Adela.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly check about the it's in. So the it's in comes at the fullness of the breath, does it?
No, you're just saying it off the top of your head at the end.
At
Since
the end of the in breath or the out breath?
when you've taken the breath in, because you're saying it's in. So it's in. Look, I take the breath in.
In.
It's in. And it's very quick. I just say it's in. You
In.
don't even have to say it. You tell yourself why, because you've just made a bond with the thing that's given you life. It's very powerful when you think about this and you get inside it. You think, yeah, it's in. What's in? The thing that's given me life. Thank you. It's called appreciation. It's called being in the moment. Did that answer you, darling?
You need to say it out loud.
You can if you want. I don't. Sometimes I do.
Oh, okay. That makes it a bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
But either way, it's putting you in the moment. And probably this story, very briefly, is there was a guy called Barry Long. I used to watch him and follow him all around the world. I loved Barry Long when he used to speak. He'd go, woman is love. He'd sit on stage. Woman is love. Remember that, man. Woman is love in a body. And I never forget this woman stopped. She says, Barry, I'm fed up with men. I think I need to be a lesbian. He said, don't be stupid, woman. Your breasts need to be held by man on earth. And I thought, oh, God, this guy, I mean, he was crazy, but it was funny, you know, how this guy used to talk. So I went to every one of his talks. I loved his speaking. So I went to every one of them. And one day I was sitting there and I thought, I'm going to go and meet him. So I went backstage and I met him. And I started to talk about this breathing with him. I said, did you do anything? He said, no, show me. And I showed him. He went, and I was going, it's in. He went, it's in. And he was doing it, you know, and it was incredible. As he was doing that, his talks changed. When I'd heard him up in Manchester, it was like, stillness is the way. Being in the moment is the way it is forward. And he'd be talking like that, and you think, and you could feel he was in the moment. You could feel he was in stillness is the way. And so I thought, yeah, he's been practicing the breathing. Then a guy came up and sat next to me and said, you know Barry Long, don't you? I said, yeah. And I knew Barry. So I said, he said, would you introduce me to him? I said, yeah, okay. So I introduced this guy to Barry Long. He goes backstage with Barry Long, they're talking, and I went off home. Anyway, the next one I went to in London, I went to see Barry Long and I couldn't get to see him because this guy was in there talking to him again. I wish I hadn't introduced him. So now this guy is up there talking to Barry Long, and the security guards wouldn't let me in because he's, you know, backstage and he's busy. So I thought, oh, bugger this. So, and I went to another one, and then this guy's in there again with him talking to Barry Long. And this happened about 5 or 6 times. And I thought, bugger this. So anyway, Barry Long died eventually, and I moved on in my life. And I'm sitting down watching Oprah Winfrey show. I'm washing up. I can hear her on in the background. I didn't watch her, but I could hear in the background she was there. And she said, what does it feel like to be the biggest changer of self-development on the planet? You sold 70 million books. You go to Tom Cruise's house, you go to all the stars' house, they think you're amazing. Where did you get all your knowledge from? How did you learn all what you know, what you've written about? And I'm washing up, I'm just listening to this. He said, oh, I got it all from my guru, Barry Long. So I turned around to have a look at the TV set to see who that was. And it was that little guy that was sitting next to me that I introduced to Barry Long, Eckhart Tolle. And he wrote the book, Power of Now. And in the book, Power of Now, nowhere does it mention the breath. Nowhere. Because he took the intellect of Barry Long's understanding of being in the moment, which Barry Long got from the breathing that I gave him, He was having an experience of stillness and everything like that. And he'd be talking about that. And he took the jewels of his words and wrote a book called The Power of Now. And he never did the breathing technique. Urquhart Tolle never did the breathing technique because Barry didn't show him. He couldn't show him that because it takes a while to get into the way I did with Barry. So it's interesting. So then you ask yourself that question, how powerful is the breath? Really? Wake up to it. One day you were born, you took a breath, oh, you're here. Then one day you're going to die, your breath's going to go. Right? I'm something to do with that, dummy, says God, says the universe. I'm under your very nose. And Job in the Bible, 2,500 years ago, said, as long as the Spirit of God is in my breath and I can feel him entering my nostrils, am I truly enlivened? That's 2,500 years old.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. We do have another question. Sharon?
Hello. No, I was just didn't want you to publicly do this. No. I just wanted to ask, so if I practice doing the breath all the time and focused on the breathing, would that help me? It was a silly question, really, but I like singing, but I can't sing to save my life, basically. So if I practice that and with the information that you've got there, would that help basically to keep me in tune, tone,
Yes.
and connect with me? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
What would help you more than anything, and I'll send some things to Catherine. She can send them to you, some exercises you can do of the beams. When you can do the beams, oh, eh, ah, ah, you get the beams solid, not in your breath, not, oh, eh, ah, ah. No, in here, in the mouth. Up in the mouth only, not from the diaphragm, like Hoshi was saying, not from there, not pushing, it's in the mouth. Ah, oh, eh, oh, ah, there, strong. When you can do that, you will start to be more in tune than you've ever been, because the beams are in tune with the infinite.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. And that was actually Kush's next question as well. Can we talk about the beams again, please? So you've answered her question as well. You're going to send us something that we can practice.
Yeah, you can practice it. And, and obviously, anybody that wants any personal work with me, I'm available to do that. All sorts of people come to me. It's amazing. It's just lovely to meet various different people that want to move forward. I had one guy here the other day, couldn't speak. When he left, thank you, Anthony, I can't believe it, because he did the beams. And then when he came back, he said, I can't believe it. I've been singing all week. The laryngologist told me I'd never be able to sing again because I got the nodes. He said, I've been singing. I did 3 gigs this week. It's been amazing. So that's the beams. They wake up and I've got lots of evidence of this. So, I can send it. You'll see other people doing the beams and how it makes them talk again and sing again. It's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, your insights certainly hit home for me. The power of our voices. Very, very interesting. So thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being so patient and listening in and doing your breathing. And I hope you've got a little bit of a hit from it. Or any of you stoned yet?
I was quite early on stoned, and I was glad you were talking about it because I thought, what's happening to me? I'm feeling all dizzy. All this oxygen coming in all of a sudden is amazing. So thank you.
You
Yeah.
find what happens is when you're breathing like this, a lot of people start yawning. And the reason why is because the firemen that are around your brain are trying to put the fire of stress out and all the problems going on in your brain. There's firemen there working away, trying to douse the fire in your brain. So what happens when you do the deep breathing, you keep doing it, you get giddy, and then sometimes you feel a yawn because the firemen are sitting down having a cup of tea. There's no fire to put out anymore. It's like you start to chill and you start to go more inside yourself and you start to feel more relaxed. And then you start feeling kind. I've just invented a new word. I'm going to put a video out on this called TikTok. It's my TikTok, okay? T, talent. I, inspiration. K, know-how. T, time. O, organize. K, kindness. Be kind to yourself as you TikTok yourself into experiencing your voice and your breath.
Sounds like really good advice. Thank you.
That's my TikTok.
Yeah, good. Right. Do we have any more questions from anyone? Any questions? No, no. We've had some thank yous and appreciation from a few people, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Wow. And anything else from you, Dr. Voice? I'm going to put your website in the links below with everybody. I'm going to send that in.
Yeah,
Did anybody contact you from your
yeah, of course. Anybody interested in working with me personally, that's all potential. And, I do what anybody really want to do, what I call an immersion day. That's very powerful. That's where you really make some big changes. I can't explain how that works. I don't know how it works. It just actually creates a different person in you. You come alive. And that's the only thing I can say it does. It's beautiful, and I've got lots of testimonials on that. If ever you want to know more about that, I can send that out. Just let Catherine know, and I'll send her a link to Immersion Days.
I think I think that is on your website. I think it is there. You can.
Is it?
Well, it used to be.
No, I don't think it is. Not the PDF. I can send.
Okay. Yeah, no, then that would be useful so that people can sign up if they want to. That'll be grand. Thank you.
Catherine, thank you so much for being such a lovely host and so sat back and didn't even interfere with me, did you?
I knew better. I'm all about the visual and you're all about the voice. So, over to you. Definitely. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on board and sharing your insights with us today. It's made a real difference. I can see people have really had some light bulb moments, so thank you for that. And look forward to seeing you in the future and on YouTube as well. Be great.
Look forward to seeing you all again sometime.
All
God
right.
bless. Thank you.
I had a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just in terms of vocal health, is there anything you recommend to have in terms of food and drink or anything to avoid?
No dairy.
Mhm.
Cut your dairy out. That really brings mucus to the cords and affects them. Do not always drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water a day because your vocal cords dry out very quickly. When you're speaking a lot, if anybody felt that they get dry or they feel hoarse when they speak a lot, that's because you haven't got enough, you're dehydrated. If you're in the desert, the first thing to get a drink at the bar are your vocal cords. Water, isn't it, when you're in the desert? Water. It's all right, because they're dried out. So don't dry your cords out. When you put too much air in your singing, that dries your cords out. Don't do that. Use vowels to sing with. Don't push air on your cords. I've had people on tour, I've had people in the Jersey Boys, Lion King, all coming to me, losing their voices, and I get their voices back because they're using the wrong technique or they're not doing the proper health check, which I just gave you. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes, good. And I even know that when we open the Akashic Records, I'm drinking a lot of water as well, because as they're talking through me, again, the vocal cords just definitely get loosened out. I know.
I had that done. It was amazing. The Akashic Records is something else.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget that. It really opened my eyes up to what my life's about. I thought, what the hell? I didn't know that side of things. And it's wonderful. All this knowledge, all these things are there to support us. And that's what the Infinite is giving us. It gives us a playground and said, okay, check it all out. Check what everybody's doing in order to become alive and happy.
Yes.
You know, this is all we're here for. We're all here for each other. Otherwise, we'd have our own planet each.
Then wouldn't that be boring?
Well, the way we're going, it might turn out like that.
Yeah. Okay. Very makes sense.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much, and God willing, you'll all come alive in what you're doing in your life. I hope you all become successful in whatever it is you're doing. And remember one thing: the fact that you are breathing, that is success.
Agreed. I don't think anybody realizes how much goes into actually just bringing somebody forward, and we should be so grateful for having this physical form, and that life happens for us, not to us. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Wonderful words. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and take care, everyone.
Take care. Nice to meet you all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.